I mean a couple of things by that actually. As I'm recording this, the market's in freefall. Just minutes ago, Bitcoin plunged into the 79,000s, and XRP hit a shocking low of $2.03. By the time you're hearing this, who knows where the numbers will be? It's a wild ride. Fingers crossed the market's bounced back by now, but hey, that's the thrill of crypto, isn't it? Things might dip a little lower from here, but don't lose hope. It's not the end of the road in a good way. I've been trading crypto successfully for over 380 days, consistently closing every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $29,000 in profits by copying my trades. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in the profile description and start copying my trades for free today. This is what market bottoms are made of. If history has a habit of rhyming, and I'm betting it does, the best days are still ahead. Let me break down why I think so. But first, a quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial expert. Far from it. This isn't financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything based on what I say or write. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves sharing thoughts on YouTube for fun. As I record this, it's 9:26 p.m. Central Time, Thursday, February 27th, 2025. Right now, XRP sits at $2.04, and Bitcoin is cruising at $81,100. Take a look at how things started tumbling. Here's the XRP 24-hour chart. Now, check out Bitcoin's chart. See that? It's practically identical. Flip between the two tabs, XRP and Bitcoin. It's the same story. The market's just moving in sync, as it often does. So, if you're worried about XRP, relax. Nothing's wrong here. This is just another day in the wild ride of crypto. Hang tight. It's all part of the game. Crypto is wild AF, isn't it? Let me share something that had me laughing out loud. The timing is just too good. Check this out. At exactly 7:20 p.m. tonight, on-chain analytics firm Santiment dropped a gem of a post. Here's the scoop. Traders are buzzing with confidence, convinced this dip is the one to buy. Discussions are exploding across X, Reddit, Telegram, Fortune, Bitcoin Talk, and Farcaster. But here's the kicker. Santiment says this hype is actually a red flag. They're waiting for the crowd's excitement to fizzle out, a sign that retail traders have felt enough pain to trigger a real bounce. The takeaway? Markets love doing the opposite of what everyone expects. When buy the dip chatter dies down and optimism shrinks, that's your bullish signal. Here we have on-chain analytics firm Santiment giving their followers a heads up. When optimism around buy the dip runs this high, it's often a sign that things could take a turn for the worse. And, well, the timing couldn't be more telling. Let's set the scene. 7:20 p.m. Now pull up the Bitcoin chart. There it is. Bitcoin sitting at $84,181. But then, bam! It's like the floor disappeared. Bitcoin tumbles, free falling straight down to a low of $79,844. A cliff dive. Plain and simple. So as I'm watching this, it's shifted just a bit since then, but isn't that hilarious? I can't help but find it amusing. And it's true. They've been posting stuff like this for years. The pattern is always the same. When there's a certain kind of sentiment, you better watch out. The crowd often trips over itself. Consistently. It cracks me up every time. That's why when it comes to crypto investing, the smartest move is to avoid following their lead. For me, it's simple. I buy, and then I do nothing. Year after year, I just hold on. Same stuff, same strategy. Sure, I might add to my positions, but mostly, I just hold. And guess what? After 7+ years, my initial investment is worth way more now. It's grown significantly. Surprise, surprise. If someone like me can figure this out, so can you. But here's the thing. The average retail trader, the lemming, just doesn't get it. Humans as a collective simply refuse to learn. Sure, on an individual level, anyone can crack the code. I've done it, and so can you. But as a crowd, forget it, never gonna happen. Now let's talk specifics. Charting Guy chimed in at 8:32 p.m. So, where was Bitcoin then? Right near the bottom, of course, sitting steady around $81,000, and XRP hovering at about $2, maybe $2.07 or $2.05, right in that range. The markers were there, all you had to do was pay attention. So, Charting Guy chimed in saying, yes, these are my absolute worst-case scenarios, but honestly, I think they're pretty unlikely. I'm expecting a bottom sooner rather than later. Bitcoin below $80,000? Bear trap. XRP below $2? Bear trap. That's if they even happen, of course, just my opinion. Now, here's the kicker. He's calling out these possibilities before anything even played out. And as of this recording, guess what? XRP hasn't dipped below $2 yet. Bitcoin, on the other hand, did. Essentially, he's just giving fair warning. These scenarios could happen. But if they do, they're likely bear traps. Translation: anyone thinking it'll just keep spiraling down from there might be in for a surprise. Sure, things could get messier for a bit, but extreme panic selling like that often flips the market into reversal mode. The last few days have been buzzing with speculation in the community. Everyone's debating whether we've finally hit the bottom. The analysts I follow, they're not exactly screaming "this is it" with absolute certainty. Instead, there's a growing consensus. If that wasn't the bottom, we're definitely circling it. Makes sense, right? You can't always pinpoint the exact moment, but you know the signs when you see them. And those signs, they're starting to show up. Here's an interesting take from chart analyst Tony Severino, posted just about 30 minutes ago at 8:58 p.m. He called this the best chance for a bottom and a bounce, while Bitcoin was still hovering around $105,000. Bold claim, right? But hey, he might just be onto something. It looks like he believes we're nearing the bottom here, or at least somewhere close to it, with potential signs of a turnaround. Who knows? By the time you're watching this, maybe the market has already bounced back, climbing a bit higher. In the meantime, here's what chart analyst Josh Rager had to say about the situation. About 40 minutes ago, around 8:48 p.m. Central Time, he shared a Bitcoin USD chart that's got everyone talking. His take? Bitcoin is experiencing a 27% pullback, a typical move in past cycles. Even during bull markets, drops of 30% to 40% aren't unusual. He suggests it wouldn't be shocking to see Bitcoin dip into the mid to low $70,000 range. But here's the kicker. He's not predicting it will happen, just pointing out that historically, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. His final thought? A month from now, we'll likely be looking at higher prices. There's some historical context behind all this, so it's not exactly uncharted territory. Just remember, this guy has been an analyst for ages. He's seen it all. The seasoned analysts aren't breaking a sweat over this. For them, it's business as usual. They're still calling for the market to climb higher. And frankly, I keep seeing the same sentiment across the board. Even after today's drama, not a single analyst I follow has turned bearish and declared, "That's it, we've peaked." The chances of that being the case? Pretty slim. It's highly unlikely this is the end. Take this post from Julian Biddle, head of macro research at Global Macro Investor, Raoul Pal's firm. As an example, just look at the black line on your screen. It tells a story worth paying attention to. That's the current price of Bitcoin. The pink line you see? That's the Bitcoin 14-day RSI, Relative Strength Index. Those lighter pink vertical bars? They highlight the moments when Bitcoin is seriously oversold based on the RSI metric. As of this morning, we're firmly in oversold territory. But don't get too comfortable. Just because it's oversold doesn't mean it can't sink even deeper. Oh yes, Bitcoin can absolutely get oversolder. And on the flip side, when it's overbought, it can definitely become overboughter. Bitcoin never fails to keep us on our toes, does it? Take a look at what's happening here when we hit these moments. Let's rewind a few years. What comes next? These points tend to signal bottoms, and if you look at the historical pattern, prices often move sideways for a bit before climbing back up. So where are we now? Well, there's a fair chance that this period could be around the bottom. Maybe, just maybe, not the worst time to buy. But hey, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't know your situation and it's not my call, just sharing my perspective. Here's an interesting take from chart analyst TechDev. Altcoins, bigger cap equals slower move. Time has confused many. He's referring to an altcoin oscillator at the bottom, comparing today's setup to the previous cycle. His takeaway? We're, roughly speaking, at that moment again. This moment feels eerily similar to what we experienced back in 2021. If you take a look at the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, it's all about the altcoins here. The chart tells the story. Once we hit that crucial point back then, the market skyrocketed, and now, the signs are pointing to us being in a very similar position. Whether it happens today, tomorrow, next week, or even next month, we're right on the edge. Analysts I follow all seem to agree on one thing. The best is still ahead. But after this massive move, the cycle will hit its peak. Then comes the inevitable cooling phase. Bear territory not forever, but for this cycle. We'll dive into that as we get closer. But I'm not seeing chart analysts flagging a bunch of key indicators for this cycle just yet. Oh, here's something interesting I wanted to share. Straight from Cointelegraph. Bitfinex whale Spoofy made a bold move yesterday, scooping up 4,000 Bitcoin during the dip. Flashback to 2022. After the Luna and FTX crashes, this savvy player amassed 70,000 Bitcoin between $40,000 and $16,000, only to sell later between $40,000 and $70,000. Let that sink in for a moment. Buying low, selling high. The whales, as I always remind you, play a much different game than your average retail speculator. It's always entertaining to spotlight moments like this. People are absolutely losing it. What's the whale up to now? Back in 2024, he scooped up 24,000 Bitcoin and cashed out between $70,000 and $108,000. Fast forward to today, his latest move is just a fraction of that, and yet everyone's glued to his next step. Here's the thing, he's not sweating it. You don't need to perfectly time the bottom to win big, and this whale gets that. He's playing the long game, completely unfazed, while the average retail trader panics and limits themselves. Sure, the market dipped lower over the last hour, but he's still well within his comfort zone. This is someone with diamond hands. Absolutely no lettuce here. He's locked in, confident, and making moves only a true pro would understand. Oh, and here's a post from chart analyst Rect Capital to top it off. Bitcoin is in its first price discovery correction, he explained, diving into the historical context. Let's take a closer look at past first price discovery corrections to put things into perspective. Back in 2013, Bitcoin experienced a massive 75% pullback over just 13 weeks. Fast forward to 2017, and we saw a 34% drop in just 3 weeks. Then, in 2021, it was a 31% decline over 4 weeks. And today, in 2025, Bitcoin is down 25% as of this morning, a figure that's dipped slightly lower, reaching 25% over an 11-week stretch so far. In terms of depth, this 25% correction is relatively milder compared to historical trends, though still edging close to that 30% benchmark. The duration, however, mirrors the longer correction of 2013. So if you're feeling the sting of this price action, maybe even a little shaken, remember this, it's all within the norms of Bitcoin's history. That's the key takeaway here. This correction may feel rough, but it's par for the course. That's why I felt compelled to share this with you. Honestly, there's no reason to be scared right now. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not scared. Really, what's the worst that could happen? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the analysts are wrong. Maybe we do slip into a bear market. So what, the market takes a few years to bounce back? Big deal. That's not scary. I'll just keep earning, keep investing, and if we hit the depths of a bear market, I'll be ready. Sure, it wouldn't be ideal. I'd much prefer the excitement of a euphoric blow-off top, but I truly believe that's where we're headed. Take this post from chart analyst Mustache as an example. Check out the hashtag altcoins. There's a reason they thrive against Bitcoin. ETH/BTC is sitting at the bottom of a descending, broadening wedge. The setup is clear, and the opportunity is huge. We're witnessing a massive weekly bullish divergence, and ETH/BTC just hit a 4-year downtrend line. You know what that means. Rotation is building, and alt season could be around the corner. Here's why this matters. It reminds me of what I've been saying throughout 2024 about XRP. Remember when it was severely undervalued against Bitcoin? Markets find their bottoms, and XRP sure did. It shot up like a rocket, becoming one of the top performers in the crypto space after 7 long years. That's the beauty of markets. They surprise you. Now, a similar scenario is shaping up for ETH/BTC. Will it match XRP's explosive run? Maybe not to that extent, but the principle holds. Markets find their footing. Just look at how undervalued ETH is compared to Bitcoin. The same negativity we heard about XRP is being repeated. It's dead. It'll never recover. Okay, sure, until it does. And when that happens, ETH is going to make a move. Keep your eyes on it. That's exciting news because it signals the potential start of alt season, which feels closer than ever. I still strongly believe this is the most likely scenario. Check out this insight from chart analyst Ali Martinez. XRP network activity has dropped by 50%, going from 202,250 active addresses in December to just 101,169 now. But here's the thing. This isn't alarming or unusual. If we reflect on early December, specifically December 2nd, XRP hit a local high of $2.90. That peak created a frenzy of activity until XRP finally reached a new all-time high on January 16th, a month and a half later. Naturally, after such a wild surge, network activity cooled off. This kind of dip is all part of the cycle and nothing out of the ordinary. Recently, XRP has been consolidating with some downward price action and less volatility. It's all part of the bigger picture. These movements align perfectly with what you'd expect during this phase. I just want to chime in and say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with his poster. He's simply laying out the facts, but I thought it'd be helpful to add some context here. This isn't some doom and gloom scenario, though I think a few folks might have interpreted it that way. Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Michael. XRP, there's still hope for new highs. If it holds this purple support line, Breaking $2.60 could trigger a move to fresh all-time highs. Expect some volatility this week before a decisive March move. I actually shared this in a video yesterday, and his stance hasn't shifted. It's not like things change overnight. He's been a long-time XRP bull. And guess what? We're still riding through the chop. Sure, prices dipped a bit today, but let's not panic. It's not the end of the road. The belief stands strong. The best is yet to come, and we're heading toward price discovery. When it comes to XRP, the story isn't over. Far from it. You could look at this two ways. Maybe the market keeps sliding in the short term. Sure, that part's not over. But the exciting part, the fun part, XRP hasn't even hit its stride yet. Price discovery is still ahead, and the XRP run is just getting started. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't base your decisions on what I say or write. That's a seriously bad idea.